Hi, and welcome to this practice where you focus on your feet. You will need a blanket. If you have it, you can also use 2 blocks, or you can take 2 big books. And we will take our socks off because we want those dear feet of ours, those dear toes of ours to be free. Yeah? So, quite early we start to wear socks and we start to wear shoes. They just limit the range of motion possibly in your feet, and they to some extent can also go, and just kind of reset up your feet, actually making the bone structure more narrow. Yeah. Today we're going to see if we can spread out and find some freedom in the feet. So while I talk, just find a nice good stand, hip width apart, just to have good balance here. And just start to become aware of where you carry your weight in your feet. And you can really circle the weight a bit around. You can move back and forth, side to side. Just make this yours. You can't do this wrong as long as you just start to connect to the weight in your feet, the touch of the floor, connecting to your foundation, your feet. If you feel like it and you can hold the balance, you could close your eyes. I will also invite you to deepen the breath as you stand here and listen to the feedback out of the floor through the feet, and listen to the words I'm going to share with you. So think of your feet for just a moment as the structural part of a house, a building. And just like when we built that, we put down the first stone when we are building a building on top. You want that fundament to be stable, yeah? But the difference between a building and your feet, one of many differences, is that you also want your feet not just to be stable and strong, but also flexible and adjustable. So in this practice today, you will not just be stabilizing your feet, but you will also bring more mobility into your feet. And let's go back to that picture of a house. When you have a house, it is really, whatever you're going to build on top is so dependent on the fundament. And so it is with your body and your feet. When we have issues in ankles, knees, hips, pelvis, lower back, start by looking at your feet. They're not always, but they might be part of both the problem and the solution if we learn how to use the feet correctly. So now start to come standing really strongly, very well centered and balanced, not just to the heels, but balancing the weight also to the 2 front edges of your feet, the 2 front corners, sitting right below the big toe, the mount of the big toe, the mount of the little toe. The last point, think of that as the center part of your heel. Some people like to think of the heel having 2 corners. If that works better for you, you can think like that as well. I want to think of it like 3 pointed, like a triangle. Center of my heel, mount of big toe, mount of little toe. Divide the weight equally through both feet, through those points. Lift up and out through the feet, and just notice how when you lift up and out, you're not standing on your feet anymore, you're grounding, and through grounding we lift. Feel how that wakes up the energy in your legs a little bit more, even up in core space, the posture get better aligned. The length in the lower back starts to grow a little bigger. And now I want you to look to your toes, and then I want you to lift the toes, keeping these 3 or 4 points grounding down. And I want you to try to spread the toes. Also, if you cannot spread them, I want you to try and just feel how that wakes up the energy in the legs even more. Keep trying to spread the toes as you place the toes down on the floor. You can move the big toe a bit further away from the little toe, and the little toe a little further away from the big toe, and hold it here. The more often you practice this, the more you will gain this ability, this control over the toes. Yeah? Give your knees a tiny bend, and always, no matter what we're doing on the yoga mat, we want to have the sense of having effort present. You'll feel that in your feet and your legs right now, that sense of effort. But also we want to have balance. We don't just want to be tight. We want to find balance. The more often we do this, the more able we'll be to find that golden middle path of effort and surrender. Yeah. Now start to lift the heels off the feet, off the floor, lifting upwards. Put your eyes, or the focus of your eyes, somewhere where you can hold it. And watch that you don't collapse. I'll do it now, that we're not collapsing the ankles out to the sides. We want the ankles, the heels to travel straight up, straight down. You can lower down again. Inhaling, lifting up. Exhaling, lowering down. Find your own pace here, in control. Use the core. When we use the feet here, the rest of the body will kind of stack in a healthy way on top. If we're just standing on the feet, the rest of the body will also invite to just kind of hang, just kind of stand in itself. If you lose your balance, that's all right. 2 more. When you find floor contact again here through both heels, step the right foot out behind you, point the toes away. We're gonna give the top of the foot and the front of the ankle here a stretch. We're gonna sit down into that front knee, and I want you to re-engage into the 3 corners of this front foot. When you engage into that front foot, I want you to feel how you can suck the left hip a bit more underneath you. We're not shooting it out to the side, we're moving it in. Breathing here, you might lean back, that increases the stretch a bit, or you might not. Move the shoulders onto the back and down. Soften the jaw. One more breath in. And then you can step out. Hoopala. And just standing here, feeling the difference between the left and the right side. When you are ready, you take the left foot out behind you. Point the toes, sit into that front leg, energize the front foot. It is not just about the back foot. We have to think about how we hold ourselves, yeah? As you ground down through the front foot, feel how you can draw that right hip underneath you. Breathing here, use the core a little bit. Lengthen lower back, you might then lean back, still with lengthen lower back. You might not lean back. Breathe. One more breath in. And we will step out. Yeah. You will take your big books, blocks, or you might use the blanket. We're gonna take the books or the blocks like this, and we'll step the front feet up on top of the blocks. Now this both has something to do with whether you're able to do this or not. The tightness of your calf, but really, let's be honest, also something to do with the length of your bones in the lower legs and feet. If this is just not working for you, instead you will take a blanket, you will roll it up, and then you will simply just step on to that instead. Yeah. Now the more you roll it up, the bigger this stretch will be. So you adjust to what feels the best for you. Good. Breathing in and out. Notice if you are pushing your knees back, that's going to lock your legs, and we don't want that. I'm doing it here on this leg now. Just add a little bit of a bend there. When we have that little bit of a bend, it also increases the stretch in the lower legs. So it's a win-win situation. We're protecting the knees and we're increasing the stretch. Good. Breathing. freeing up that space and lower body, lower legs. Stand proud and tall. This nice connection into core. Still, we want to find that balance between making the effort of engaging here, but also finding ease and softness. Now you might stay where you are, you might lift the heels either a little and then down again, or you might lift them a lot, coming all the way up. And we'll do that a few times in our own pace. Again, watch that the ankles are not collapsing out to the sides. Take your time. One more time. Stepping off blanket or blocks and just taking one foot into these mindful circles. We're not just getting it over and done, doing it as fast as possible. Mindful circles. Think of your posture here. So it's not just about the moving foot. It's also about the other foot and how it stands and how you then lift yourself up and out. How you stand up and out from the floor, even up and out through the crown of the head. Change the direction. So engage a bit in this leg. Watch that you then can suck that left hip or whatever standing leg you're on, moving that hip a bit in towards the midline. Now switch the sides. Mindful circles with other foot. If it feels good to stay somewhere, you can. Stand with intention down through the other foot. Change the direction. So when we move the feet in this intense way that we're doing this practice today, we are making the blood flow better through that space. When the body starts to move, blood starts to flow more freely. And this is really an intense foot practice today. So we're getting a whole lot of energy stream flow through the area of feet and toes. And that is healing, my dears. Good. Come to stand. Good. So you might use your blocks for balance here. We'll open the toes out to the side, the heels in. Usually we would sit down into Malasana like this. Today we're going to allow the heels to be quite lifted. So lift the heels, sit down. The blocks are there to support your balance. You could also do it without or hold the floor, of course. Yeah. Now we'll start to just move a bit from side to side. Letting one knee come down, then the other. Keep the knees opening to the side so they don't come in front here, yeah? Keep shoulders out of the ears. Leave some space here on the front for the heart. Make sure the pinky toes are also involved. They tend to want to cheat and stay out of it. So maybe you want to slide a little bit more weight towards the pinky toe side of your feet. Good. And then come to the center. Lift the hips a little bit, lower the heels. Now sit down to where you can keep the heels down. You might want to open the legs further apart. You can maybe come all the way down, not. But today, keep the heels down right now. If you can take your hands off the blocks, you can push the knees a bit out. And again, it's okay if you're up here. Just increasing here to bend a bit in the ankle. One more breath in, and then you can sit all the way down. Get yourself into this comfortable seat, and you will place the right ankle in front, the left ankle behind. Yeah, we're gonna give ourselves a little foot massage. So start by picking up this right leg. Thread your fingers of the left hand into the right toes. So one finger in between each pair of toes here. It takes some getting used to. Again, we're trying to get the toes to spread a bit more out after years and years of being squeezed together in shoes. You could just kind of like squeeze your hands, squeeze your fingers into this foot. And again, you cannot do this wrong as long as you're just doing this in a way that feels good to you. So we might add that squeeze, cut off the bloodstream to a part of the foot for just a brief moment, and then release it so the blood can stream through that space again. Massaging. You might have this difficult relationship to your feet, to feet in general maybe. And this is a good moment to just love your feet a little bit. If you never touch them, but they're supposed to carry you through life and work for you like that, it's quite a weird relationship, isn't it? If we always think badly about something that is such a vital part of how we really literally move through life. If this just feels like magic to you, you can totally stay here. You could also take the fingers out and just really massage out the sole of the foot in any way that feels good. If you have extra time one day, you might even add some oils and just do this as a 20-minute practice on its own. Involve the heel as well. Up into the space of the Achilles. Onto the top of the foot. Good. And then we switch the sides. Other foot in front. Threading the fingers of the right hand into the left toes. This is actually one of my favorite things to do. I haven't done it in a while. Started just recently to do it again, and I really just see how, oh wow, there's a lot less space here in between my toes than there used to be. So if we don't lose it, if we don't use it, we might lose it, but we can regain it if we want to. That's the beauty of the body. It doesn't keep anything from you. If you want to find it, you will. Just patience, time, and that we keep showing up doing the work. You might just stay with this, or you might add that massage with both hands to the sole of the foot. Keep soft facial muscles. Even though they're not your main focus, we can still bring some awareness also into the softness, the alignment, the release of the rest of the body. Into the breath. Involve your heel as well. Involve the Achilles space, top of the foot, and then complete. Good. Two last things here. Sit up on your knees. You could maybe use your blocks in the near. We'll point the toes away, we'll keep the ankles together. Good, so this might be already quite a stretch here for the top of your foot. You can totally stay here for the front of the ankle, a good stretch too. You could stay there. If it's too heavy, you lean forward. If it feels like you have a bit more space, you could lean back. You could even pick the knees off the floor, using the blocks for balance, or sitting here. We'll sit here for 20 seconds or so. You can totally come up before if you need to. One more breath in. And and then come down. Onto all fours, just wiggling out the feet a bit. And then underbend the toes, yeah. Again, the pinky often wants to cheat, so we're just gonna take a hand back and help each pinky toe coming under. Take the heels relatively close together, open the flesh out to the sides, sit down. Now, we sit here, it's quite an intense stretch, it becomes more and more intense as we sit here. If it's too intense, you lean forward. Yeah, as we stay up, try to imagine that you have a light coming out through the center of your heel, and that light moves to the wall behind you, and I want you to move a little bit with that light, so it's shooting the heels a little bit out behind you. Now, if you want to increase it, you can lean a bit back, maybe using the blocks to bring the floor closer, or sitting with hands up. 20 seconds. Breath in, breath out. And then start to come out. Onto all fours, just wiggling out the feet. Go easy. Good. Come to a forward fold, the feet are hip width apart. As you inhale, lift halfway up, take the hands to your shins. Find your way into ground through all three corners of the feet again. Not just hanging on the heels, but actively ground the feet down. Maybe try to spread the toes a bit. You are in a good position where you can watch your own feet. Good. Move the shoulders away from the floor, onto the back and down. Take one more deep breath in. And then exhale, fold forward. With the inhale, you will ground through the feet first, and that will lift you all the way up to the ceiling, standing tall. Arms can reach. Hands come to the heart. Keep grounding through the feet. Find that beautiful balance between doing the effort, but also surrendering. Stand tall, stand proud. Feel the connection to the floor. And that, ladies and gentlemen, concludes our practice for today. I wish you a good walk through this day.